The cold here isn't just an unpleasant feeling, it's a force capable of killing a person in a short amount of time. And in the middle of this harsh white world stands something that seems completely irrational. A house made entirely of snow. This house is called an igloo. Just looking at it makes you wonder, how can a house made of snow, how can be warm protect someone from freezing? Isn't snow itself cold? Shouldn't the inside be just as cold as the outside? And is an igloo really as warm as people say? Or is that just an exaggeration that has spread over time? Before we answer that, we need to quickly get to know the people who used these shelters for hundreds of years. They are the Inuit, who lived in the harsh Arctic regions of northern Canada, Greenland, and Alaska. For centuries, they hunted marine animals. There were no hotels, modern houses, or advanced heating systems. They had to find a way to stay alive in places where temperatures reached levels most humans simply could not endure. That's why they built igloos. But here comes the first surprise. An igloo isn't just a temporary shelter from the wind. In fact, many people survived freezing temperatures inside them, and some of these shelters were much warmer than you might imagine. The question is, how? How can snow become a tool for protection against the cold? The secret begins with understanding something very important. We usually think of snow as the source of the cold, but the truth is that snow is an excellent insulator. That may sound strange, but snow contains millions of tiny air pockets. These pockets prevent heat from moving quickly, so when the Inuit build an igloo from compacted blocks of snow, the walls don't allow the heat inside to escape easily. In other words, a snow wall doesn't work like a block of ice that carries cold into the interior. Instead, it acts like a barrier that slows the transfer of heat. Let's assume the temperature outside is 84 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit. As soon as a single person enters the igloo and closes the entrance, their body begins producing heat naturally. An adult human continuously generates heat, even while sitting still. That heat becomes trapped inside the small space, and the temperature gradually begins to rise. Instead of 84 below 0, the temperature inside the igloo may rise to around 60 or 50 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit. That number may sound frightening, but it's actually a huge improvement compared to the outside. But is that enough to live in? No. And that's why the Inuit did something else. They designed the entrance much lower than the sleeping area. The reason is that cold air is heavier than warm air. When cold air enters, it sinks and gathers near the lower entrance, while the warmer air rises to the area where people sit and sleep. As a result, a warmer layer of air forms above. This trick alone can raise the temperature by several additional degrees. The temperature in the living area becomes higher than that and may approach 40 or 30 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit. But is that enough? The answer is still no. So they added another element: animal hides. The floor and sleeping areas were covered with reindeer hides, bear skins, or the hides of other Arctic animals. These hides acted as an additional layer of insulation, preventing the body from losing heat to the cold ground. So even if the air temperature remained low, sleeping on a thick layer of fur allowed the body to retain much more of its heat. And with several people inside the igloo, their body heat began to accumulate. The temperature continued to rise gradually, and it could reach around 0 degrees Fahrenheit or slightly higher. But is that the highest temperature it could reach? No. This brings us to another important step. The Inuit used special lamps fueled by seal oil or animal fat. These lamps provided both light and heat at the same time. And although the flame seemed small, it could burn for many hours inside a relatively enclosed space. Combined with the strong insulating effect of the snow, heat began building up more and more. As a result, temperatures inside the igloo could reach around 20 to 30 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's a massive difference compared to the frozen world outside. But what if the fire went out? Would the igloo instantly turn into a deadly freezer? Surprisingly, the answer is no, because the snow walls don't allow the stored heat to escape quickly. The temperature would certainly begin to drop gradually, but not immediately. Even after the heat source is gone, the body heat produced by the people inside continues helping keep the shelter much warmer than the outside environment. But the Inuit didn't stop there either. They also took advantage of the igloo's size. The more closely the interior space matched the number of people inside, the easier it was to heat. Instead of trying to warm a huge room, the heat was contained within a relatively small volume. And when body heat, the insulation provided by animal hides, the elevated sleeping platform, the oil lamps, and the insulating snow walls all came together, the results became clear. The temperature rose even higher. It could reach 40 degrees Fahrenheit, then 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and in some documented cases, it could approach 60 degrees Fahrenheit inside the living areas, even while the outside temperature remained 84 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit. In short, an igloo isn't warm because snow is warm. It's warm because it prevents the small amount of heat inside from escaping.